Guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to come on today with a good old-fashioned get ready with me. This one is one that I decided to make because I realized that I was reaching for the same products, literally the exact same products every single day for the last at least week, if not more. And I just felt like, look, if I'm reaching for this over and over again with as many options as I have in my collection, it means I really like these products. It means I really like how the look turned out. Maybe I should share it. So that's what this video is. Good old-fashioned get ready with me on products that I have been absolutely loving lately. Some new, some old. Let's jump in. Okay, let's start. Let's cover up some of this darkness slash redness slash stuff that I just feel like needs to be covered up. I'm gonna use my Skin Food Salmon Pot Concealer. This is in the shade number 1 as my corrector. A little bit goes a long way with this. My goal in 2024 is to find a dupe for my Clinique Airbrush Concealer. If anybody has found one, has loved the Clinique Airbrush in the past, and found something that they think is very similar, please let me know. I did have someone, and I'm sure I probably answered it by now, but I did have someone ask how I felt like the Clinique Airbrush Concealer compared to the Jane Iredale Active Light Concealer, which I also have. The Jane Iredale is a little bit thicker, and to me, it is more of a brightening concealer versus one that corrects. Like the Clinique, I'm already having trouble speaking. The color of the shade that I used was more to correct, whereas even the peachy tone in the Jane Iredale Active Light Concealer is really something that kind of corrects, but it brightens more than anything. So that's the main difference for me. And the texture, the Jane is just a little bit thicker. The foundation combo that I have been using a lot lately, and y'all, when I say a lot lately, it means like the last week. I have too much stuff to do the same look for like a month in a row. Now, if I really get hooked on like a foundation, I might use that pretty much the entire month. But to do the same look over and over again, I have to really be stuck on it. And this one, I've just really been stuck on it. And again, it's just been for like the last week. But I love it so much. And I'm never, I haven't yet to get tired of it. It always wears well. It always looks good. The foundation duo I'm going to be using are the two Chanel Le Beiges. I have done a comparison video on these. I will put it up in a card because while the concept is pretty much the same, where they have like pigment beads encased in skincare, there are some differences. And I did have, you know, a favorite of the two, but it was pretty close. I really like mixing them though. So I'm going to take my ring off because I don't want it to get dirty. I'm going to take the majority of the Water Fresh tint. Okay, so I'm going to do like 2 pumps of that, and then I'll do like 1.5 pump of the Complexion Touch because that one has a little bit more coverage, and I like to apply this first with my fingers. And this is kind of like one of those products where you feel like, okay, I'm not really putting anything on my skin except for moisture. But when you can see when I go over my lips, there is some coverage, but also a lot of moisture. I mean, you can see that it has given a glow to the skin, but it is the farthest thing from looking like makeup on your skin. I mean, truly. Maybe the Jane Iredale Hydropure Tinted Serum gives this same kind of effect where it's like, do I even have anything on my skin? Is there makeup on my skin? That is the effect that this gives. It just sits like absolutely nothing on the skin. And to be quite honest, all the other days that I've worn this, I haven't felt the need to put anything else on top of it. For some reason today, my redness is really peeking through a little bit more. So I'm gonna show you what I do in that instance. I'm gonna take a foundation stick. This was actually sent over to me along with a couple of other things by Makeup Revolution. And this is the foundation stick. Let me see if it says up here. Fast Base Stick Foundation. And this is in the shade F6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brush. This is my IT Cosmetics number 7 brush. And I'm going to pick up the product from the component. I don't want to stripe anything on. That's not the kind of, you know, amount that I'm looking for. And I'm just going to lightly tap it on the areas where my redness is peeking out the most. So see how that added some coverage, but I'm not wanting a ton of product on my face. That defeats the purpose of me using the Chanel products. The reason I have been loving them lately is because they are so skin-like. But again, my redness is just really peeking out more today than it has all week. So very, very, very minimal product. It doesn't have to be this product, but I do like using some kind of cream product in this instance. I feel like it's easier for me to manipulate how much product is used. So just to add a little bit more coverage. For foundation, for concealer, I mean, it's the Chantecaille. I feel like I haven't used this in a video in a while, but it is no less loved. And I'm almost done with this container. This is in the shade Vanilla of the Future Skin Gel Foundation. I always have to say that because I feel like if somebody's new, they might not know. And I know for those of y'all who aren't new, you're probably like, would you please shut up about that product as a concealer? But no, I'm probably not going to, because again, I think it was late to mid 2022 where I started using this as a concealer just to see, fell head over heels in love with it, and I haven't stopped talking about it since. And quite honestly, since then, I have had a lot of concealers that I have found and loved, but none of them have dethroned this as my #1 favorite concealer of all time. So I've just been back to reaching for that a lot. And then for powder, I recently got a new shade of this powder. This powder is absolutely not new to me. I'm actually pretty much done with my last shade, which was a little dark for me this time of year. It's more suited to me in the summer months, and it was medium dark, and I got medium plus. Now, this is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural Powder. Beautiful. I've had medium plus in my kit for a long time, so I knew that this shade would work for me. And it's very pretty on top of these foundations. Was this the powder that I used in that video where I compared them? It might have been. I can't remember. I just know that it always looks good over this. If you're someone who doesn't like powder, this is a great option to look for because it is very natural on the skin. If you can see, I'm kind of piling it on, but it never looks like it's piled on. It does the job of setting down your makeup without looking like you have a lot of powder on your face. Remember in my favorites video of the year for 2023, I was talking about brushes and how I tend to get in kicks with foundation and bronzer brushes especially. Well, I am now on a kick back to a larger bronzer brush, and this is the Sephora Pro Bronzer number 80. And I'm going to use my tried and true beloved Laura Mercier Baked Bronze. This is in the shade number 3. I have no idea how I've not hit pan on this. I mean, there is absolutely no dome on it. It is a baked product, so it comes as a dome. But it's just one of those products that keeps on giving. And I just really like this brush with it for some reason. So it's what I've been reaching for. Just kind of stipple it in. This is the number 3 is a little bit of a warmer undertone. I feel like I got number 2 thinking that it would work, and I ended up selling it like on a blog sale because it just wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but it's good that they have the options. You know, I don't know what my hair is doing. I cannot, it's at that length where it will not stay back. It's growing out like straight out this way. I don't know. Okay, blush. I have been kind of rotating between one of 2 blushes lately. Still can't speak. The first is the Sicily Orchidee blush in number 1. And it's this beautiful kind of corally bronzy blush. And then also my Jane Iredale Sheer Honey, which I'm actually going to be using on the eyes. So I feel like I'm going to use the Sicily today just to not be too redundant on the products that I use. This is the only shade I have in this. And when I first got it, I was like, oh, I need all the shades. And I still want the other shades. They have like a coral shade and a pink shade. But I'm really happy that this is the first one I got because I just love it for a neutral / little bit peachy blush. It's one of those ones that just goes with everything. It doesn't matter whether I'm doing a cool tone look on the eyes or a warm tone look, it's going to look good, and it always does. I'm going to use a cream highlight, so I'm going to go ahead and buff with my Hourglass Radiant Light. Again, just on the lower half of my face. You definitely can do your forehead if you feel the need to. The reason I don't is because this product has a built-in, beautiful, natural kind of sheen to it. And if there's one place I absolutely do not want any luminosity other than what maybe a bronzer might impart, it's my forehead. I just don't like having any kind of shiny forehead. And sometimes even if I use like a bronzer with a sheen, I feel like I kind of have to matte it down. So unless I really feel the need to buff out product on my forehead, I steer clear when I do that step. This is a new cream highlight to me, and I had mentioned in my favorites video that I was receiving this the day I filmed that video. And this is the Victoria Beckham Stick Highlight. This is the shade Pearl. I bought this because I love Victoria Beckham makeup, and also because I wanted to see how it compared to my beloved Westman Atelier Nectar that I talked about in my favorites. So the main difference is the size, at least right off the bat. This is more of a lipstick component versus the Westman Atelier is a lot larger in size, but I apply it the same way. They do have two shades in this. This is a lighter shade. I just put some on these two fingers and then tap it on to my cheekbone. So yes, they are very similar. The Nectar shade is a little bit warmer. It has like a little bit more of a peach undertone, which is my favorite undertone for a highlight. But the texture is similar. The application is similar. The finish is similar. The feel is similar. So if you're someone, again, who likes that more of a cream to powder dry down on a highlight, you don't want any tackiness left behind, this is not going to be for you because it does still leave that kind of tacky finish. It's not annoying enough to me to not to wear. Like my hair doesn't get stuck in it or anything. But again, the finish is very similar. I really like it. And I'm not mad about having it. I don't find that it's so alike that I'm just being redundant. If anything, maybe it looks more like Kava from Merit than it does Westman Atelier just because of the undertone. But this is just kind of like my type of highlight right now and the past year. So I will be using that a lot. Now let's move on to eyes. This is more of a look that I have been doing for like the past 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. The eyes are something that has just been on complete repeat because I've been in the mood where I just really don't want to think about it. I just don't. So I have been doing this look over and over and over again. And again, I just always love it. I'm going to start out with my Jane Iredale Sheer Honey blush, which I have talked about so many times as being not only a favorite blush, but also a favorite eyeshadow. And use this in the crease. This is a Refer number 27. Another product that I can't believe I haven't hit pan on yet because of the amount that I use this not only as a blush, but also a shadow. Now this next product is probably the star of the show for me. It is one that I have used before in the past in a different shade, mostly in my kit. In fact, I've gone through, I don't know how many of these, in the shade Cocoa, but I got the newer shade of the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal Liner in Cinnamon. It's such a pretty shade, y'all. It is this like, wow, cinnamony brown. It has a slight, like a very, no, it doesn't. It's not like shimmery. That's not what I would call it. But it's also not as flat matte as the Cocoa shade, which is hands down my most used liner in my kit. Hands down. Rarely do I use a black liner on my clients. I always like to go for a brown. I just feel like it's not as harsh. But the Cocoa is that perfect shade of like super dark brown where it can almost look black on some, give the amount of definition that a black does, but not look as harsh. This is a little bit lighter than that Cocoa. And again, it's not quite as flat matte. So what I've been doing, these are very, very, very easy to apply, very soft. And they do have some playtime. So y'all know how I like, if I'm not using a shadow liner and I'm using a pencil, I really like to smoke it out. Really even a shadow liner, I like to smoke out most of the time. So I just apply that and then I take just this is a Real Techniques brush. It's old, the shading brush. And really just kind of blend it up, not precisely. I'm gonna use it some more, but that's it for that step. And then I will put some kind of shimmer shade on top, and I have really been loving, I know this sounds redundant, but I really like Victoria Beckham. The Lid Luster products, which is kind of like a shadow slash topper. This is in the shade Honey. I also have Chiffon, and I will go between the two for this step. But today I'm gonna use Honey, and it's like a very pretty gold, like almost like a burnt gold shade. And I'll just tap that onto my lid. Now, if I want this to be super opaque, then I'll put some kind of cream shadow underneath, like my Beauty Counter Aura shadow that I use a lot is great to make this seem more opaque. But I like just having this kind of wash of sheen on the lid. I suppose you could apply these with a brush, but I can say I don't think I ever have. These kind of products I really like to apply with my finger. So again, not that like opaque, shiny, metallic type of product, but just a very pretty wash of sheen on the lids. And then because I'm extra and just because I like to, I'll go in with just a little bit more of that liner. I'm not gonna really smoke it out, but just to give a little bit more definition on the lash line, and I can just use my finger to kind of smudge it a little bit. And then, regardless of whether I have been doing this exact eye look or not, which to be fair, I probably have, but ever since I got this product right here, specific liner shade, it's all I have been using on my lower lash line. No shadow, no nothing but this. And what I do is I just take a little bit right there on like the outer third of my lower lash line. And then I'll take that same brush that I used to smudge it out on the upper line and then bring it all the way into that inner corner. And that's been my lower lash line. Now, I don't always have an issue with eyeshadows not staying under my lash line when I use them to smoke out. Sometimes they don't stay all day. This stays all day. So if you're wanting something that has more longevity than you might be feeling like you're getting from a shadow, definitely try a liner. This liner in particular is a great option. One of my favorite purchases of the past few weeks. Love it so much. Now I'm gonna do my mascara off camera, but I am gonna use another product that was sent to me by Makeup Revolution, and this is the 5D Lash Pal Volumizing Mascara. When I first got this, I was like, how in the world do you open it? You have to push down and then twist and it comes up. And it is a very, very large brush. So I'm gonna use that off camera. We'll be back to finish up with lips. I mean, pretty impressive mascara, especially for how affordable Makeup Revolution is. Now, they also sent over their lipstick collection in Bare, which contains 5 full-size lipsticks. So I will swatch those real quick. To be quite honest with you, I have just been using my Beauty Counter Bare Shimmer for the majority of the time, but I think I'm gonna try to maybe use one of these. This is Untouched. These are very, very, very creamy lipsticks and very pigmented. The next is Naked Beauty. So that second one is Naked Beauty. This one is Sooner or Later, and this one's definitely more of a pink. It's got a little bit of, just put my finger in it, a little bit of purple in it. This is another pink, Whispers, which is more of the traditional like cool tone pink. And then Mannequin. These are super pigmented, so that's Mannequin. Now, because you'll know, if you don't, I don't love a super pigmented lipstick. I'm really more of like a colored gloss type of girl, but I'm gonna use Naked Beauty, if I can find it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, because these are so incredibly soft and pigmented, I'm gonna take my finger and put some on there and then just tap it. I mean, look at how much just doing that. So if you're someone who likes a super pigmented lipstick, They're also kind of moisturizing though. They're not like drying, even though they have more of a matte finish, which y'all know I'm gonna put a gloss on. Come on. And I'm gonna use my Bare Shimmer. Just a little bit. I can still see the color of that Naked Beauty, which I actually kind of like, and I really like it with the gloss. So that's it. That is the finished look of just products that I keep reaching for lately and really, really enjoy. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I will have everything listed and linked below per usual. Let me know and let us know if there's a product that you just can't stop using lately down in the comment section. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.